If someone who used to feel like home now feels like a burden, that's not you changing. That's God moving. The distance you've been feeling guilty about, it might be the exact protection He's been trying to give you. When God removes someone from your life, He doesn't always send a lightning bolt. Sometimes He just makes it uncomfortable to stay, and if you're not paying attention, you'll fight to keep what He's already released. If you've been feeling like certain relationships don't fit anymore, like conversations that used to fill you now drain you, you didn't do anything wrong. God is reorganizing your circle because He's preparing you for something those relationships can't survive. Today, we're walking through 7 signs God is removing someone from your life. Sign 5 is where most people turn back and force what God already finished. And sign 7, it doesn't feel like loss. It feels like something else entirely. Sign 1, the conversations feel different. What used to flow now feels forced. You're talking to the same person, but something shifted. The ease is gone. The depth is gone. You're going through the motions, but you both feel it. There's a wall neither of you can name. When God is removing someone, He starts by removing the connection. Amos 3:3 asks, "Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so?" When the agreement changes, the walk changes. God doesn't always remove people loudly. Sometimes He just makes the relationship feel off. And that discomfort, it's not something to fix. It's something to pay attention to. If you keep forcing conversations that don't flow, you're ignoring what God is showing you. You'll drain yourself trying to resurrect what He already laid to rest. This is protection, not punishment. Let the shift be the sign. Sign 2, they're no longer part of your vision. When you think about your future, they're not in it. You used to see them there. Your plans included them. Your prayers mentioned them. But now, when you imagine where you're going, they're just absent. And you're not angry about it. You're just aware. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish. But where there is vision, God clarifies who belongs in it." If someone is no longer showing up in the picture He's painting for you, that's not coincidence. That's confirmation. God removes people from your vision before He removes them from your life. It's His way of preparing your heart for the shift. Stop trying to fit people into a future God didn't include them in. Sign 3, you're outgrowing the connection. What used to challenge you now limits you. This person was once your safe place, your sounding board, maybe even your mentor. But now, every time you share what God is doing, they respond with fear, doubt, or silence. They're not celebrating your growth. They're confused by it. It's not that they're bad people. It's that they're assigned to a version of you that no longer exists. Jesus outgrew Nazareth. Mark 6:4 says, "A prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home." Sometimes the people who knew you at one level can't see you at the next. If you stay to make them comfortable, you'll shrink to fit a space God already called you out of. This is not punishment. It's preparation. Number 4, you feel lighter when they're not around. Their presence used to bring peace. Now it brings tension. When you're with them, you're on edge. When they leave, you exhale. And you've been feeling guilty about it because they haven't done anything overtly wrong. But just because someone isn't toxic doesn't mean they're still assigned to you. Sometimes God removes people simply because their season is complete. Ecclesiastes 3:6 says, "There is a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away." Relationships have seasons. If you've been feeling this, you're not being cold, you're being honest. You don't need permission to protect your peace. If their presence consistently drains what God is trying to fill, that's reason enough. Here's what happens next, and this is critical. The next 3 signs don't just confirm the removal. They reveal what God is making space for. And what most people don't realize is that sign 7 will feel completely opposite to what you expect. We've covered the shift in conversations, the absence from your vision, the outgrowing, and the relief when they're gone. God is not removing people to hurt you. He's removing them to heal you, to position you, to prepare you for what's coming. But here's where most Christians miss it. The next signs feel like loss. They feel like endings, but they're actually beginnings. Sign 5. You've stopped fighting for the relationship. The urgency to fix it is gone. You used to initiate. You used to check in, reach out, try to bridge the gap. But now you're just quiet. And it's not out of anger or bitterness. It's just that the fight left. You're no longer compelled to save what's slipping. When God is removing someone, He removes your desire to fight for them first. Philippians 2:13 says, "It is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill His good purpose." If the will to fight is gone, maybe it's because the fight is over. This isn't you giving up. This is you surrendering to what He's already doing. Stop interpreting peace as apathy. Stop interpreting release as failure. If you're no longer burdened to fix it, that's not coldness, that's completion. Number 6, God keeps creating physical or emotional distance. Every time you try to reconnect, something blocks it. You schedule time together, something comes up. You send a message, it goes unanswered. You plan to reach out, and you just don't. It's like an invisible hand keeps rerouting you away from each other. That's not bad luck. That's boundary enforcement from heaven. When God is removing someone, He doesn't just change your heart. He changes the circumstances. Isaiah 45:2 says, "I will go before you and will level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron." If God is leveling mountains to bring something to you, He's also building walls to keep the wrong things out. If every attempt to reconnect keeps falling through, stop seeing it as rejection. Start seeing it as protection. The sign that seals it. The one most people mistake for something else. This sign is about you feel peace about their absence. The guilt is gone. The grief has shifted. What's left is calm. This is the sign most Christians miss because they're waiting for closure, for a conversation, for some dramatic ending. But God doesn't operate in drama. He operates in peace. And when someone is truly removed from your life, the final confirmation isn't tears, it's stillness. It's the moment you realize you're okay. Better, even. Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." The word rule there means to act as an umpire, to make the final call. If peace is present, the call has been made. The relationship is complete. You can love people from a distance. You can honor what was without trying to resurrect it. You can be grateful for the season without needing another one. Peace is not something to question. It's something to obey. Sometimes the most loving thing God does is remove someone before they become a burden you were never meant to carry. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going, and that's okay. Let obedience be your safety.